evening. Wanted to welcome you to this special screening of A Boy, a Girl, a Dream by director Qasim Basir, and starring the amazing Meagan Good, who is here this evening, and Omari, Hardwick, Dijon Talton, as many others, and it was also co-written by Samantha Tanner, who's also. And so this evening was something that was put on by my business partner, myself, from Buffalo Wakes, Stephen Adams, and we also have some of the other Buffalo Wake team here, founder Matthew Holderman and Luke Taylor is here, and Lee McIntosh, who also did an amazing job with the invitation that you all wonderfully replied to. And the gentleman who really made this evening possible is the amazing Theo Dumont, who's head of marketing at Buffalo Lake, and his team. Shelley, we had Terrell, we had Hunter, who has done an amazing job. So I want to say thanks to everyone for all of your hard work. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our client, Qasim Basir, who is unmistakable as a director and an amazing human being. And this piece of creation is a masterpiece. So it's with pleasure that I introduce to you, Qasim Basir.
Thank you, John, and thank all y'all for coming. This means the world. This movie means a lot to us. It's been an incredible journey. I'm so proud of all the people that were involved to put this together. I came to Datari with this, Datari Turner, I don't know if you've heard it, but about 2 years ago. And since then, we made a movie, we went to Sundance, we went to festivals, it got picked up. Samuel Goldwyn is distributing it in theaters on Friday, so give it up. For Samuel Goldwyn Films, who's in the house. We got Ryan Boring is here, and I think Miles might be here, and Josh is here from Samuel Goldwyn. And it'll be in theaters all over the country this Friday. So we're very proud of this, and we have a lot of the cast in here. We got Anthony, we got DJ MOS, we got Chris Lofton, we got Brittany, who else? Mike Jackson. There's a ton of people here, and we're gonna talk to all of y'all after. And Anthony Hemingway is here to moderate the Q&A after the prolific Anthony Hemingway. So anyone that I'm missing right now, don't worry. We'll get to you after, and we'll kick it, and we'll have a conversation, and we got a little reception out there in the hallway as well. So thank you again for being here. This means the world to us. And like I always say, this film was made for anyone who's ever had a dream. So enjoy. Woo!
Let me feel it. That's right. Awesome. Let's continue to spread love and shower all your praise to this wonderful group of filmmakers and storytellers, starting with our director, visionaire, Qasim Basir. Yes, sir. Coming up behind him is, I want to say First Lady, his sidekick, the other half, his backbone, the other strength to this is Samantha Tanner. We have several of the other actors here tonight, but I think coming here in front is starting with our leading lady, Meagan Good.
Hello.
And last but not least is the man with the plan, the brother. Where's he here? Datari Turner, are you in the house?
I think I see him. Well, when he gets here, somebody point him in this direction.
Right. And our lovely storyteller, filmmaker, cinematographer, Steven Holleran, please come to Sorry, Steven Holleran. Datari Turner, ladies and gentlemen. Awesome. I'm going to start, Qasim, with you. How did this begin? Where did this labor of love start?
It began with trying to do something simple, something lighter. Two people, one night, one take. And I also fell in love. So, like, you know, I kind of write about what I'm going through a lot of times, or what I've been through. And so it started there. And what originally was a light love story, then the election happened later. And then it became like, oh, this should take place on that night. So it began there, and then it bloomed into something more. I gave it to Sam, and she put her spin on it. I came to Datari, and you know, he got the resources and the people together, and you know, we ended up making a movie. But it started with this attempt to make something light.
I love it. I cannot avoid this, and I'm like trying to navigate how I want to enter it. But I've fallen in love with these two after meeting you at Sundance and being so admired by your work and what you all, you know, your intention on this and what you wanted to share and the purpose of this film. Being a love story, I think, at the core of this, and the two of you in love. How was that process? Tell me about that.
That's like the easiest part of it all, because no matter what, we can throw it all on the page, and then it kind of works itself out. So when we ever have any kind of contention or points of the sticky spots, we throw it on the page, create a story around it, and then we both find perspectives that, like, oh, that's what he meant, that's what she meant. And so I think it gives us an opportunity to just get both the masculine and the feminine from both perspectives. But then also, it wasn't we didn't start off writing together. It was just kind of something that I was doing my own thing, he was doing his own thing. We just happened to be like, oh, okay, what are you doing? Can you read this? And that kind of went in one day, and he was like, what? Can I really?
I read something of hers that was amazing. And sometimes she writes and keeps stuff to herself. And I'm like, nah, it's like, you need to, like, the world needs to see this. So here, take your pass at this thing and see where it goes. And she brought it to a whole nother level. So.
Did you become method in the process in terms of like continuing to push each other to go forward?
Oh yeah. It gets real in there. So.
Yeah, we definitely do. There's no shortcuts with it, because I know his strengths, but I also know his weaknesses too. And and he knows mine, so we get a chance to, like, there's accountability. There's true accountability.
I love it. Well, thank you both for this. Ms. Good, knowing you are an artiste, a thespian, and love to use yourself in your work and to allow yourself to find a place in your, allowing your work to really speak for something that you believe in. And I've heard you talk about this film serving a purpose.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that appealed to me, right off the top, I loved Q's first film, Destined, and so I was like, man, I want to work with this guy. And then when Datari told me about this project, and he's like, listen, it's a one-take situation, for me it was like, wow, what a dope challenge. Like, I got to memorize this entire script, and the script was about 70 pages, and then there was about another 30 to 40 pages of just improv that left room for error while we were filming. And the other thing that was really the main thing was the character. And I love that Frida was in this place of, deciding in her life that she wasn't living up to her full potential. She wasn't fulfilled. She wasn't happy. She wasn't doing things that she was passionate about. So, she went to LA for this weekend and to kind of have a moment, reassess her life, and also to escape a not so great relationship. And she meets this guy. And, while she thinks she is challenging him, he's challenging her. And I think it ultimately goes to whatever gift God has given us, or really whatever passion He's put in our heart, we have a responsibility to follow that because it was put there very specifically because it has everything to do with who we are and our purpose in life. And so when you begin to walk in your purpose, you begin to change the world. You begin to bless other people just by being obedient. You begin to shift things. And even the conversation of feeling so small with everything that's happening in the world and feeling like there's nothing you can do just as one person, having that understanding of you walking in purpose and being specific and intentional and living at a level of excellence as best you can when you can, it literally is like the small thing that kind of sparks the flame that does change the world, because we're all connected in that way. And so our voice is never little and our purpose is never little. And so that's really the journey that Frida goes on in this film.
Awesome, thank you. Can you help us understand? I meant to like, Omari's a brother, and I've always liked messing with him. And of course, having worked with him, I noticed a repetition here in the film where he would always take his coat off for someone outside, but as soon as he walked through the threshold of the door, he took his coat back. Like, what was that about? Like, was that purposed, or it just became a thing?
I don't know.
I know you probably can't explain it.
I don't know. Omari is such an incredible talent and human being, but you never know what's going on inside his head.
Right.
Like, you literally have to ask him, and he will definitely share it with you and give you the articulation and his fullness.
Yes, I hear he also kind of used someone here that was close to him as a muse, but I'll leave his name.
Amen.
Yeah, Jamil.
I think I know what that is.
Very good, thank you. Steven, taking on the task, what was your first initial reaction to Qasim in wanting to design this film in one take? What was that feeling like, and understanding what that meant in terms of just even the logistics and the storytelling and just kind of the feeling that was wanting to be conveyed in designing this in one take?
Well, we were stepping off the map in terms of how you tell a movie and how you shoot it, and we met a day that I felt like the country was stepping off the map. There was a Women's March in LA. It was right after the inauguration. He and I were feeling a lot of things. And it was the second time we'd met. We met at a premiere of a previous movie I'd done, and we sat down and spent a number of hours together, and by the time we were done, it was clear we were going to shoot it as a one and in one night, no matter what it took. And that was the approach we continued to follow all the way to the end, even in moments of doubt, and there were certainly plenty, even during the filming of it, but that faith in each other and this idea and all the other people involved in the movie was what carried us through, and that's the origin of it, at least for him and me.
That style, when, for anyone who doesn't, I guess, understand just what goes into designing certain things in your storytelling and understanding the psychology of what it is and what it means and the use of it and what you want people to feel and convey.
Yeah, I'll speak to that a little. It's easy to look away right now with everything that's going on in our country and in our world. Sometimes it becomes hard to see these things. You look up and you see children in cages on the news, and you're like, in this film, it's like, no, we're going to stay with them in all these moments, in the awkwardness, and the beauty, and the fear, and the pain. We're going to stay with them the whole time, and we hope that provides a different kind of journey for you as you stay with them in all of these moments that they feel.
Well, thanks for choosing the best two-looking actor.
Amen. It was, beyond remarkable and wonderful work, because understanding what a camera does in the art form of just, supporting the narrative and really telling a story visually. Bravo. Great work.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Big D. First of all, this brother makes movies happen. I love that. Thank you for getting behind and supporting it. At what point did this come to you, and when did you get involved?
So me and Q, we met. Me and Meagan had a film in Sundance 2012 called Love, and Ava DuVernay had a dinner at Sundance where she introduced me and Qasim, and we stayed in contact over the years, and talked about working together. And he came to me with the film initially. It was a love story set in New York, and he was like, D, I got this idea. It's not going to be a lot of money to make it. This whole thing, I felt like I got punked on the money side, but no. He said he wanted to make a one-take film, and, I consider myself a student of cinema, and we talked about films that have been shot before in one take, like Hitchcock's Rope, and obviously Victoria, which he referenced a lot, the Italian film. And, obviously Birdman, but, it's cuts in Birdman, they market it as a one take, but, that's really how it started. And then the election happened, and he called me the night that Trump won, and he was, in tears. I was at my parents' house in the Bay. No, I mean, we both were, because I don't think people really thought it was really gonna happen. Like, people were just almost like, this can't happen. Like, you know what I mean? So it was just one of those things, and he called me and he was just like, he was really affected by it. I was deeply affected by it. Meg was deeply affected, Omari, and that's how setting it on the night of the election came about. And we changed the story to LA and worked on, developed it. And Omari has been a brother to me. He's been a brother, I'm sure, to a lot of people, and probably in this room too. We did a previous film, and Meagan, when I came, what really struck a chord to me was I read an article in the Washington Post, and it said that only 12% of people in the world enjoy what they do. And that really struck a chord with me because I didn't know the number was that low, and because I feel like people come to LA and people come to New York with a dream, and if it doesn't happen in the time that they gave themselves to accomplish it, real life sets in. They got to get a job, or maybe they meet somebody, get married, have kids, and 5 years later they're on a hamster wheel, and maybe the dream kind of fell by the wayside. So I thought a lot about when I was 22. I was living in New York. I was living in New York when 9/11 happened. I saw the second plane in person crash into the building, and I had a previous career in fashion, and I decided at that moment, because I was going outside and people would be crying, and just like for months, like people just crying for no reason, and the church lines were like, a mile long, and so I was like, you know what, I got a pretty comfortable life, but is this what I should be doing with my life? It made me take real inventory too, and I was 22, so I told my girlfriend at the time, I'm like, I'm gonna move to LA to be a writer. She's like, wait. You didn't go to film school. Like, what are you talking about? And I was just like, I think I got to do this. And so she didn't want to come with me. So I ended up, I had to still pay for the place in New York, and got a little studio apartment, air mattress, and I started writing Video Girl. And she was the first person that believed in me. It took a chance on me, and so. When I was reading it and what Qasim wanted to do with it, it took me back to a time in my life where I had to go after my dream, and so I think that's the thing that we want everybody to get out of it. It's like, two people got back on track because they met each other, and life is short, man. Like you got one shot at this, and it's going to be tough, but I feel like people are the most resilient when they go through the most in their life. And if you can make it, on the other side of it, you can look back and say, you can be proud of yourself that you took that chance. So, I mean, in terms of it coming all together, it's really just friends. Like, me and Meagan are producing partners. We made 6 movies together. Everybody, a lot of the people in the scene, from Anthony to Brescia to Mike Jackson to Kenya Barris, is just people I picked up the phone and called, and it was just like, come fuck with us. Miss Diddy, Dave Brown, like, a lot of people that, it's just all friends. And, all my friends showed up for me. And, our executive producers as well. It's hard to raise money for films. And I've been able to do it a lot of times, but it's really just being honest and making sure investors get their money back, of course. But, you know, I'm happy we took this journey because I really believe in Qasim. I really believe in the people standing up here. I know this is just the surface of like the careers that they're going to have. And so I'm just proud to be a part of it.
Dijon, will you come here? I have something I need to ask you, please. But while you're coming to the front, Qasim, I believe in divine order, and not to get into any kind of, specificity or anything. We love spirituality, and we share that. I don't believe it's coincidence that
Man, Dijon, I'm tripping, man.
Dijon Talton, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know. Sorry, man. Sorry.
I do not believe that there was a coincidence that as we enter a new term of an election year, that's very important for us to, be active and to come out and help make a change in the world that we want to see ourselves in and that we live in. That this film really highlights just, the impact that I think a decision that goes in a direction that either we don't participate in or whatever is really, I think, a beautiful message or a call to action, really, I think, at a certain point for everyone to really kind of wake up and pay attention. How do you feel about that? I know you clearly, have talked about your intention for this and everything and not wanting this to be a political at all approach, but I think, there's purpose and message and everything, and I think when we use our platforms to affect and to reach people and to be effective, you can't overlook that. And I think that as we get there, there's, a real, true, important, I think, acknowledgement or an awareness for us to pay attention to.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be political because it's on that night. We didn't want that to take over the story. We wanted the love story and the story of dreams to shine through. But the idea to say, on a night that the country was dividing, two people actually came together. And what that could potentially mean for other people who are in the fight towards bringing this country together again. I absolutely would love for this to go out there and make waves, for people to see it and decide to stand up and do something. Because I feel like, I don't know if I've ever felt like this in my life, that I'm not sure which way we're gonna go. We in this country, fortunately, have always ended up on the side of progress, which is amazing. And we've come very far. But this time we're looking like, wow, there's a lot of things happening where it's scary. So yeah, sure. Go out there, film, and say something to people to potentially make them get up and do something and go register to vote and go get other people to and go, if you have a problem with something in your community, do something about it. This is that do something thing. Them in that movie are saying to each other, yeah, I'm a filmmaker. Really? Are you? And that's what she says to him. That's what she does to him. Send the script, man. Send it. Sometimes you could be in people's life for 10 years and they might not say anything to you that pushes you, and then one night you meet someone that changes your entire life. And if you could be that for somebody, that's the stuff, man. And they might not like you for a few days or weeks or whatever, but that's the stuff that we need right now. For real. And I forgot to call Dijon up. He was the driver of the lift that around the job in there. And also I'd love to call up Chris Lofton, who was also, come on up here, Chris. He was in there, he ran up to Omari, yeah, I'm gonna go to USC, bruh. Also on Ballers, killing it right now. Brittany Sarpy, where are you at, Brittany? Antonique, if you guys are around, y'all come on up. Antonique was like, you turn the thing off and now you're leaving with the music? That moment in the house. The whole cast. Anyone that was in the movie, please come up here. Please come up here with us. DJ MOS was in the club. Mike Jackson. His acting day. Well,
I don't think that was his debut.
Yeah, that's why I stopped myself.
Yeah, exactly.
I stopped myself.
He's a little child prodigy.
Dave Brown.
Mike, come up. I know you're here.
Mike Jackson.
Mike Jackson.
Winning Emmys out here.
Mr. Talton, this is my baby brother, guys. Don't be looking like that. Yeah, that's what we tell everybody. What kind of research was involved with you playing the character that you played, being Muslim, and allowing that point of view, I think, to be a part of this journey and story?
I actually grew up with my best friend being half Muslim and half Christian. So me and Qasim had a very in-depth conversation before we started filming about the gravity of what it meant to be Muslim and black in America. Being a black male myself, like being shocked and appalled by Trump winning, what that meant for America, I only could think about what it would mean to be Muslim and black in America when America already doesn't accept you. When you're already put in boxes and stereotypes and told that you are not welcome or accepted, and this man comes and perpetuates that stereotype. And America says that that's the man we want to run our country.
Yeah.
So you no longer are welcome, you no longer are seen, you no longer are valued. So starting the film and picking up Meagan and Omari, there's hope, there's a possibility that they'll choose right. By the end of the film, you meet him again, and that hope has vanished. The possibility of his cousins coming, or his dad being accepted, or him being a true American with a dream, and that being seen and valued, is gone for now. So when I was reading it and I was talking to Qasim, and I talked to my best friend Lulu, I had to challenge myself and what it meant to be an American, and what it meant to stand firm and to have a point of view where everyone's against you. As a black man, I felt oftentimes, especially in Hollywood, that we face so many trials, but the level and the weight that went on top of that, and then getting to play with Meagan, who's my mom and sister and best friend, and Omari was my brother, to be able to challenge that his perspective was the hardest thing to be in America is a black man. And for most of us as African Americans, we believe that. Until you're challenged with someone who has an extra struggle on top of being a black man. So really the conversation with Qasim, his insight, his truth in that part of the character, and Lulu kind of like allowed me to take on that weight.
You know what's crazy? You saying that, it's like, it's a mind kind of. But the idea that you can say, yo, I'm patriotic too, being black and Muslim in America on a day that hit us all and affected us all. It makes people like, what? Yeah, I was born here and raised here as a black Muslim dude who loves America and played football and went to high school and all that, and it's amazing. And we were also terrified on 9/11 too. Like, we were also like, oh my God, what is happening? Where are my family members? Like, this is horrible. So like, that concept that America only represents this thing is so like, it's crazy. That's what America's about. It's about all of us. He did so well at that.
Thank you all for sharing this labor of love, living, and storytelling. We need it. Honestly, we need more of it.
And thank you, Anthony Hemingway. Give him a round of applause for all the stuff that he's been doing out here in the world and all the truth that he's been putting on screen for everyone to see.
Just a few questions I want to open up to the floor. If anyone has any questions, please speak now or forever hold your peace. Yes.
I wanted to ask about the score. The score was one of my favourite aspects.
Score.
Yeah, I wanted to know who the composer was.
Tony Anderson was the composer, and his music is beautiful and wonderful, and I love what it does for the movie, and I just fell in love with it. And every time I see it, it moves me, and I love what he was able to do there. But yeah, that's what that was. Thanks.
Question over there.
Yes.
Which one of you came up with the line, I feel sorry for kids that are born with Trump as the president?
Omari improv that in the car. Yeah. So I was like laying in the back of the van when they were in the lift scenes. So like we would talk, but Omari he came up with it.
How was it like directing Mike Jackson?
It was wonderful, man. Wonderful.
Give him some context.
So Mike, a lot of these people are like superstars in their own right. You know, Mike is partners with John Legend. He just won an Emmy this weekend. This guy has produced La La Land, Underground, a lot of really amazing projects. You know, DJ MOS is one of the biggest DJs in the world. Dave Brown, literally, I mean, you know, what he did, you know, Jamil, obviously, his inspiration. Dave Brown is like, been like LA, like everybody in here has went to a party that he's been behind. This is the guy, you know, so like, so many of these people, I mean, Chris, this is my little bro, I've been mentoring this guy. You know, he's on Ballers right now. He's breaking out. He's a superstar in the making. You know, Antonique. You know, all these. I mean, Double Threat. Everybody. Yeah, everybody is killing. Shots fired. Grammy Award nominee of the singing side. So everybody is, you know, doing their thing, and so they all showed up and just, you know, even if the roles were really little, they just got behind us. You know, because, you know, it's about relationships and you know, people knowing you have integrity and respecting you as a human, you know. So that's, you know, I mean, I thank all of you guys. I can't say that enough. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Yes.
Now, what's the furthest that you got into shooting, and then you had to
30 minutes or so into the club.
No, it was past. It was
Past the club?
Yeah, we got like to the car and had to go all the way back to the to the food truck.
But the
And
club,
mind you, the club
was like at least three times, because the dude.
Yeah, no, the club was several times, and all the people that were at the house was like, for real? Yeah, because remember, this is real time. So they were up at the house, like, so y'all just gonna leave? Meanwhile, the dude that we rented the house from was trying to kick us out the house. They were like, y'all can't have fire up there. I'm like, no, there has to be fire on that scene between Meagan and Omari.
There's a movie, and there were so many people that were booked to be in the movie that were at the house. We just took so long, they went home. Roxy, you know, Diaz, Yvonne, who's on Insecure, like all these people were in the house. And they just was like, yo, y'all bugging. Like, D, Yvonne's like, D, you bugging. You asked me to show up and do one line. I'm on a show, I gotta get up at 6 in the morning. So it was a challenge, man. It really was a challenge. It was a guy that kept harassing Meagan. I feel like when we were at the club, he was
Yeah, but literally, so when you deal with a oneer, you try to think about everything. So you're like, all right, we got
background artist?
It'll come to me in a moment. Production assistants that are playing like offensive linemen. Like if you see that twinkle in someone's eye that they see Meagan or they see Omari, go and like block them. You know what I mean? But like there were people in the line of the nightclub as we're shooting. Dude is like, hey Meagan, can I get a picture, shorty? I'm like, oh my god, dude, are you? Did you just mess up? Do we have to go all the way back? Cause we had to. And in the inside, he was trying to like get at you. We lucky the mom.
Nah, it was crazy.
It was a lot. We could talk about this all night.
I mean, like logistically. I mean, too, just
even for all of the independent filmmakers, like logistically, where we shot at is the most expensive place to shoot in all of Hollywood because Film LA doesn't cover the permits for West Hollywood. So we had to go right to the city of West Hollywood, which was like very, very expensive. And then we had to go door to door and get signatures from all of the people in the neighborhood by the club. And they had to sign off. Wait.
I just remember, like, we were shooting the scene, and then we messed up because we had to start again because someone didn't get their cue, and then someone came and parked the car in the middle of the scene, and they don't want to move it. It's like,
That's $5,000.
That's $5,000. I mean, it got expensive.
It did, that part.
Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you to John, Steve, and Theo. Immediately following right now is a reception right outside the door to the left. You will get some signatures, some love.
We got some posters out there for everybody. And if y'all enjoyed the film, you know, we tweet about it, Instagram, whatever, you know. And the movie opens Friday.